and in that it's got a giant wheel that's like a wheel that could go up in terrain, like a bicycle.
Yeah, it's a hiking thing, right? It's like a hiking half bike.
Yeah.
Yeah, so my friends want to buy that for me because my best friend and her husband are super active and they want us to travel, and I'll be the professional third wheel that I've always been her whole life.
Professional.
And she literally sent me stuff about that because she and her husband hike a lot and I obviously can't. They're like, we're going to buy this and then you can go. So I've actually seen what you were talking about, Forrest.
Yeah, and it's seeing it demonstrated. It's a backpack that the wheels, the guy, he's going to be the engine for the thing. He puts on the backpack, and then there's aluminum tubing that comes back and goes back to the tire. And then on top of the tire, it's a seat for the child to sit in or whoever to sit in or for Addie to sit in. And they went around the Abilities Expo and tested it out, and the guy was not sweating. He kept looking back to see if his child was there because it was so light. And they were showing videos of them going up a steep hill. I'd have a tough time going up the hill, but they were going up the hill with this thing. And it's like, wow. Amazing.
It's like a little chariot, but the person is the chariot horse.
Yeah. So the backpack is a harness, basically.
Yeah.
For him. Yeah.
And you can put lunch or whatever you want in the backpack too. Now, my question for you, Addie, would be in that, because I don't like to ride horses because I always feel like the horse is saying, hey, buddy, I saw you walk up here. What do you get off my back? I know you can walk. Get off me.
Right.
If you were in that chair in the back, would you be able to enjoy that, or would you feel some kind of obligation or something to help or
to clap? I know. I don't know. I don't know. I would need a seatbelt though, because when they were showing me it, I was like, how would I not fall out? That's what I kept thinking the whole time. Because I'm like, if we're going up like Madonna Mountain, which Doug, that's pretty steep. I'm like, I do not want to pitch to the side, especially because lefty and righty don't always agree about what we're doing. So I get nervous. So I'd be interested. I should have had you, if I had known, I should have had you be like, is there a seatbelt? Because that was more what I was thinking. How do I stay with the center of gravity? Or for that child that can't adjust themselves, how do they adjust?
Well, they've got the walking sticks that the person with the backpack on uses. And from what I could tell them talking about it, that in case that there is some imbalance, that they have the sticks to catch that rather than pitch over, and then to kind of counteract that. But there is, I'm sure there's going to be some risk. Absolutely. Right. So you maybe could wear a football helmet.
But I imagine that risk is tied to, how severe the terrain is. So you can kind of mitigate some of that, or how fast you go Yeah. So were there different sizes? There's some for children and they had others for adults?
I didn't see that. No, I didn't. Yeah. But the bucket, maybe, the different size bucket. So the tire was pretty big. So I can imagine that it could take maybe even a couple of kids if they had the adaption. But that was the highlight of my of the whole ability.
Yeah. I don't know why, but, I guess it's because they're kids and they're cute, but I love to see kids in the little wheelchairs, they're little wheelchair, that always warms my heart. The thing that I wanted to make sure I went by Bowhead, which is a corporation, and they first kind of came, into my radar when they were building these 4-wheeled, really, I think just gravity driven. I don't even think they were cranks, and you go up a hill and you just come down the hill and it's gravity fed in their off road, so there's big knobby tires, and there are videos. Just, go and do a search on YouTube with Bowhead, and you'll see they're coming down a hill at looks like 40, 50 miles an hour and sliding, and there's a bunch of guys all trying to kill each other. It looks like, but I had to see these things. And then more recently, they've built. They had like 3 different. They had a 4-wheel drive, or not 4-wheel drive, but 4-wheeled, and then they had a couple of 3-wheeled, and one of them had the 2 wheels in the back. One of them had 2 wheels in the front, and now they've electrified them all, so they have electric motor. Oh. Yeah, and for different things, and so I had to go check those out. And some of them articulate not only is there suspension in the wheels, but the bike itself articulates. So when you're riding it, you can lean over, and it leans over, so you can, throw your weight into the corner the proper way, But it was so interesting to see how far we've come, because I have a hand cycle, but it's compared to that, it's, fairly rudimentary compared to that. But I was telling the gal, on this show, my brother and I both had polio. When we were young, that's the kind of thing we would dream of, because our friends were riding bikes, and we would kind of help them facilitate trying to kill themselves by, we'll build the ramp, you jump it, we would egg them on.
Set up the obstacle course.
Yeah. So we're kind of living vicariously through them without any of the risk, And, you want us to build that higher? Go
You'll
faster.
Be fine. You'll be fine.
Yeah. You'll be all right. What's that? The other guy hit your head with his tooth. Whoa, that's a lot of blood. But,
right.
So now, and our imagination was like, there's got to be something you could do that you could crank, something because we were already there. You wanted to crank with our hands, would have to be 3 wheels. So, because we can't keep it up, and now we've gone just blown by that. And there's new things every year when you go to Abilities Expo. So, yeah.
What was the propulsion on that? I couldn't tell if it almost looked pneumatic.
It's like electric. Yeah, it's electric.
Okay.
Yeah, and you crank it. So you can crank it and go all, 100% crank. I think she said there were 4 levels, so you have, different levels of assist. And then I think when you get to 4, it's maybe full electric. Yeah.
Why is it bowhead? Why is that?
You'd have to ask them. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't
it's
know.
Like something to do with a bow and arrow. I don't see that. What?
I guess you fly like an arrow, maybe.
Oh, maybe.
I'm helping to extrapolate. I'm trying. Bowhead, please explain.
And then they have a new all carbon fiber wheelchair, which is very nice.
That makes it really light, right?
Yes. Very light, very strong.
That's the same thing that NASCAR uses, and that's what caught Doug's ear.
Yeah. Vroom, vroom.
It's like, make it look like a NASCAR for me.
Yeah. I imagine it would be like the last wheelchair you might ever buy, because other than replacing wheels and, casters and tires.
Yeah. Insurance won't like that very much.
Yeah.
Or they will, one way or the other, right?
Yeah, exactly. Anything else? I encourage people to go. Anything else before we close this out?
I'm thinking.
What's your final takeaway? What are your final thoughts, sir?
I'm reading my thoughts.
I'm reading my thoughts.
Please hold.
Yeah, if somebody has never been, why should they go? I think we've probably touched on a bunch of that, but yeah, there's so many things and new stuff coming all the time to change your life in magical ways.
I just love the energy, because it's so positive. There's nobody playing the victim card, or nobody's woe is me, because they know, hey, whatever circumstance I am, all I have to do is look to my left or look to my right, and somebody is in a different situation that could be worse than mine. So they're all positive and they're all happy to see each other. It's kind of like, little kids when they see somebody else their own size and they just complete stranger, they just walk right up to them and hug them and touch them and
your best friend. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Don't go up and touch anybody and say they said on Rock and Roll Live you can just touch each other. But I know what you mean. You're right. Yeah, you get there and you really, that's why I enjoy it so much.
The camaraderie, it's a big community.
It's your people, it's our people. And
moment, we're not afraid to say we all know each other, how we always talk about, right, no, I do not know the other person with CP. Yeah.
Yeah. And there's a possibility that you're going to get to know most of them. Like I say, every year I go and I reconnect with a lot of people. That's the only place I see them once a year. And then there's always new people that I meet. I walk away and or roll away and know that I've made a new friend.